Welcome back to the channel, everybody. If you're new here, my name is Jacob. We review antique L. Chalmers tractors in this tiny little one-stall garage with nothing too spectacular as far as tools goes. That's what I actually want to talk about today. 90% of what I use to do what I do is in these toolboxes. Okay, maybe not 90%, but it comes down to it. I get a lot of comments of people that want to work on this stuff and they go, oh, I don't have the know-how or the space or the tools to do all this stuff. You really don't need a lot of specialized anything to work on these tractors if you really want to do it. Like I said, I don't have a huge shop. We're working on a little tiny one-stall garage here that I just got recently fixed up. You can go on the channel and check out the garage remodel videos if you're interested in that. But it's just a little garage here, just big enough to fit the tractor in. But the point of this video is I just want to show that you don't necessarily have to have a lot of tools to do what I do. So these are my two to-go boxes, I call them. Basically, between these two toolboxes, I can fix a lot of stuff. And you wouldn't think it, because they're not, terribly big toolboxes. But there's a lot that you can do with a few tools. Let me get these opened up, and I'll kind of go through what I got, and we'll talk about it a little bit more here. So let's start with the actual toolbox. I built this in high school, and I built it exactly like the one Dad has that he built in high school. I just wanted to show you here why I like it so much, because the size is perfect for riding behind the wheel well in the box of my Chevy Silverado. Let's go inside where it's warm and I'll show you some more. Okay, now that we're inside where it's warm. So yeah, like I said, I built this in high school in shop class. So that would have been about 2002, 2003, junior or senior year I would have built it. Entirely from scratch. Sheet of sheet metal, a couple of piano hinges and some latches and a handle. And it's all spot riveted together and pop riveted, and it was a good learning experience how to use the box and pan brake and the riveting process. There's different kinds, like I said, there's pop rivets, there's solid rivets. So it was a good learning experience. Maybe when I'm home sometime, I'll show you Dad's toolbox. Like I said, it's exactly the same size and everything. I can kind of show you what he carries around too. But anyway, so that's the box. So essentially I have almost $0 into the actual box because I built that. A little bit of hardware and sheet metal is all. And then yeah, here's a selection of all the tools that I carry around in that box. This is my to-go box. So we'll start over here. It's just a selection of open end and combination wrenches. I don't think I bought any of these new. It's all garage sale specials over the years. That's why none of them match. But it goes from 15/16 down to whatever, 1/4 inch. And a lot of the more common, 9/16, 1/2 inch, 7/16. Because that's what you use the most. So you got a selection of them. I got a variety of screwdrivers. There again, maybe a handful of these of the Craftsman ones were bought new. Everything else is just stuff you've picked up garage sales and stuff along the way. If we're going to be honest, all of these are more often than not used for scraping crud than actually turning screws. So the tips on just about every one of them are wore out and need a good, you need to spend some time on the sander and tune them all up. Same with all the Phillips. Their tips are pretty much junk, but it'll get you by in a pinch. Couple of zip ties because you never know when you're going to need them. Little pair of scissors for cutting out gaskets and whatnot, is what those are handy for. We got a selection of files, just a basic flat file. We got a little flat points file here. Those are handy for points, obviously. We got a little triangle file for getting in the corners. We have an old tap. For nothing else, to use as a center point. If you got to drill something, make a center point. We got a little nail set, cold chisel, just a general purpose punch, some electrical tape, a little piece of emery cloth, some Teflon tape, a few miscellaneous Allen keys, a pair of tweezers. Those come in handy sometimes for picking something out of a hard to reach place. Just your basic feeler gauge set, and some miscellaneous, bits, Phillips, Torx bits, whatever. Those come into play with the screwdriver here. You can put the different tips in there. If you don't have a power tool handy, at least you get you by in a pinch. So this is one that I did buy new, this little trim bar. I forget what brand it is, but we had gotten one at work and I absolutely loved it. I call it a little trim bar because we use it at work for like popping off trim casing and baseboard and stuff if you're trying to save something, because it's got a nice thin tip to it, which actually it's getting kind of dull now. It needs to be taken to the sander as well and sharpened up. But I really like that one, so I bought one for myself. Wonder bar, you can never have, a Wonder bar is useful for so many things. This one was also something we got new. It was probably a present back in the day. I've had that since I was just a little guy. It was probably a Christmas present. It probably came along with the Craftsman hammer. There again, I've had this about as long as I can remember. Unfortunately, in my garage restoration project, I've noticed the handle is starting to get a crack in it, which is kind of makes me sad. I'm kind of sentimentally attached to that hammer. I've been kicking that around for, like I said, almost as long as I can remember. Being a craftsman, I probably could bring it back and get a replacement if the hammer handle breaks. But I'm probably not going to do that because, like I said, I've had that so long. I just want to kind of keep it. There should be a couple. I'm actually missing. There should be another 12-inch adjustable wrench in here too that I bought new. Currently, I can't find that. I'm hoping I left it at home last time I was home. Otherwise, I don't know where it went. This particular one was a garage sale special. It was $1. I can remember buying this one because it was all rusty and it looked like crap. But I brought it home and I cleaned it all up and I got it all working again. And this is actually one of my favorite tools. It's still nice and tight. It's just a little bit ugly because it was so pitted and rusty. I got a couple of regular pliers, nothing special there. Wire crimping tool and a nice pair of wire cutters. I like these ones. These are Milwaukee's. These were new. Same story. We had a pair at work and I really liked them. So I got a pair. It might have actually been a present from Boss. He might have actually gotten that. I think he did for Christmas one year. Some lineman pliers and needle nose. Those were new. They were getting a long time ago, and I've used the heck out of these. They've used lots of different projects, Craftsman's. Pair of or a set rather of Allen wrenches. Those are robbed from Dad. Got his name on them. He still gives me crap over that. Oh, you steal all my tools. Yeah, I steal one tool and I never hear the end of it. Miscellaneous vice grips. All of those are garage sale specials. A pair of tin snips. A pair of scissors for cutting out gaskets again. A couple of pipe wrenches of various sizes. They're again all garage sale specials. This little guy is handy for prying. It's a little like for moving staples and stuff, but that comes in handy for prying things apart. That came from my Grandpa Carker. Oh, this probably I shouldn't even have in the toolbox. I've never used it, I don't think, but the thought was for again cutting gaskets or whatever. Typically, if I need a cutting utensil, I go to my regular utility knife. A couple of smaller adjustable wrenches. That's a good diamond tool there. We pick them up whenever we can. They are made in Duluth, which is very near where I'm from, back home in Wisconsin. Angle gauge, excuse me, putty knife, excuse me. A little tape measure. There again, I've had this guy since I was just a little guy. Sometimes if you don't have one on you, it's nice to have something, and that little one fits in the toolbox rather well. A couple of wood chisels that unfortunately have some rust on them that I need to clean up. My toolbox got a little bit of moisture in it this summer. Caught in a rainstorm or something. And I didn't realize that some water had gotten inside and got some of the stuff, some surface rust on it. So I'll have to do some cleaning. A couple of toothbrushes for cleaning up parts and whatever. And some various sizes of crescent wrenches and slip joint pliers, whatever you want to call them. These were a present from Grandpa Swanson a few years back for Christmas. At least these two. I think the big one I might have had from before. But yeah, it doesn't look like a lot, but that'll get you half of what you need for fixing most of the kind of stuff that I fix. I'm going to put all this stuff back in the box, and I'll lay out the stuff that I have in my other box. And just in case you didn't believe that it all fit in there, there you go. So this is my to-go socket and ratchet box, so to speak. There again, this is a garage sale special. It's a Craftsman box, but it was completely rusty. I cleaned it all up, gave it a rattle can paint job, and I've been using it for years and years as well, just like my other box. So in the top here, I got a selection of a 1/2-inch drive sockets. These up to 1.1/8, down to little guys. There again, a lot of this is, just about all of this is garage sale pickup, so they might not even be complete sets of the same brand, but it's all what you need, put it that way. A couple of universals, which I hardly ever use. Miscellaneous spark plug sockets, which are never the right size, so I don't know why I carry them around either. Breaker bar we use all the time. This particular ratchet I use all the time. It's an old Craftsman. I like this one a lot. I use that. It's my go-to one. I got another one here, which I hardly ever use. 3/8 drive, a little stubby guy, a little 1/4-inch drive. There again, I hardly ever use any of these. This is my go-to. Hardly ever use that, but sometimes it's handy to have. The miscellaneous extensions of different sizes and different lengths. There again, 90% of the time you're using like those two because they go with that. But it's nice to have a selection of stuff. There again, this set here is the actual impact socket set that I had gotten years ago. New, we bought these ones new. And 95% of the time, if we grab this ratchet and breaker bar for what we're working on, it'll do what we need to do, unless we're playing with the real big boy nuts and stuff. And then we got to get the big boy socket set out. This was a recent addition to the set, Craftsman stud extractor. You've probably seen me use this on the 1525 heads recently if you've been following along the channel. If not, check that out. Really like that. That's handy. I should have gotten one of them years ago. So that's part of the permanent kit now. These go in, all this stuff goes in the bottom of the box. It's stuff that I don't use very often, but it's handy to have sometimes. A set of deep well standard and deep well metric sockets. There again, hardly ever use metric stuff, but it's handy once in a while to have. Mainly the metric stuff gets used, if we're going to be honest. If you have like a rounded off nut standard, you go to the next size smaller metric, force it on there and to get something off is usually about all metric it's used for. Some more variety of sockets there that are again hardly ever used, but just to have. This is a set of open end or combination metric. There again, hardly ever used, just to have on hand. We got the little distributor wrenches, standard and metric, garage sale specials. Once in a while, they're hard in those hard to reach places. They're nice to get those little ones. I got one oddball line wrench that's handy to have. Luckily, it's the kind of common size, 1/2 9/16. So that floats around in the box. And then we got a bunch of these offset boxed in wrenches. They're handy to have. I like having them around. What's nice about some of these old ones is they have some of the oddball sizes that sometimes come in handy with old obsolete stuff. Sometimes the nuts are oddball sizes and whatnot. And sometimes with that offset, you can get into a place that you can't with a normal wrench. So there isn't a lot in this box. There's actually quite a bit of empty space. But it's my to-go box. Like I said, if I grab this box, I know that I can go and work on something and have pretty much anything I'm going to need. Like say I'm going to go up to the Pioneer Village and work on some of their tractors. I volunteer up there when I have time. Chances are I'm going to have everything I need in these two toolboxes to fix what I need to fix on those tractors without having to run and get more tools. And then the exception to the rule is if you start getting into the old tractors with, some of the nuts and stuff get to be quite large with certain things. Dad and I picked up this set a few years back. It was on sale at, I forget what store it was, but it was like after Christmas sale special, and it was dirt cheap. It was like $50 for this set, and it's a good brand name Crescent set, but it's the big boy set, 3/4 inch drive, ratchet, breaker bar, couple of extensions, and then sockets from 7/8 up to 2-inch, and we've already used this set a lot, specifically tearing into this project. Dad brought it out because we know we're going to need it on this 1525. And then we did have to add one addition. We had to get a 2.5 because we had a great big nut on the front pulley that we didn't have a socket big enough. So we bought this one just to add to the collection. So, like I said, if you're getting into working on these old antique tractors, don't feel the need to have every tool in the world. Yeah, I have a lot of other stuff around here too, but like I said, 90% of the time, basically everything we've torn down so far to get this tractor to this point, 98% of it was the tools that I just showed you in this video. So don't be intimidated by if you have a lack of tools, because you can always add tools to your collection. Tools are never a bad investment, as long as you buy wisely and you buy things that you're actually going to use. Don't feel bad about investing in tools. It's a lifelong investment. And like I said, not all the stuff is great name brand stuff. There's some China stuff mixed in here too. But over the years, I've slowly upgraded, and you slowly weed out the Chinese stuff and replace it with USA made tools. And for a lot of things, China tools work just fine. It doesn't have to be the top of the line expensive tools to get the job done. It's just nice to, when you find something you like, sometimes you just splurge and you get yourself a nice tool. So I just figured I'd do a quick little video showing the kind of stuff that we use around here, and kind of show that like I said, you don't have to have everything state of the art, a huge shop with every tool imaginable known to man. It's you can get by with a whole lot less. So I thought you guys might find that interesting. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. And we'll check back some other time. Thanks for watching. Later.